podcast, and if you go directly there, it's a weekly show we put out.
When I turn in the scripts, I do it a little bit differently. I like to turn in layouts, just because that's sort of the way that I generally write. I turn in a script in addition, and I don't imagine there are any plans to show these layouts, but they're not really much to look at. But it's pretty great to be able to approve of.
Yeah, if I can just
comic by reading a comic.
Since I'm doing the ongoing and Zander's writing Bumblebee, we have to work together a lot. And when I get his scripts, it's a full comic book. And I can read it like a comic book, which is so much easier. And I've been thinking about just finding some local artist where I live in LA and like paying him like $30 to like thumbnail out my scripts because
start lining up, guys.
It is so much nicer to read them that way than to read a script. I love working with Zander for that reason and many others, but it's so easy to read your stuff. Just like read it like
yeah, Robert.
And something else I've really realized as I've kind of jumped around different projects, but very much like every artist, you look at it's going to write or draw differently, and it's obvious that every writer's going to have a different style or a different approach. When Larry Hamill's scripts come in, they're very much like the old Marvel style. It's typically like a paragraph that describes what happens on the page. The great thing about Larry, too, is he throws in all kinds of pictures and images and reference links, and he knows exactly what he wants. Like, he's got a good visual idea. I mean, he's an artist himself. So, like, some of the scripts I was reading from him, he had, like, pictures of himself holding a katana saying, this is how you hold it. I mean, he's very specific. That's really cool. So his scripts are very, very detailed in the reference that he's providing, but not necessarily in, he's not breaking down panel to panel, how do you draw it, As opposed to Chuck Dixon, who says panel 1, page 1, panel 1, and he lists what you got to do, but he leaves it open for me to decide how to, change the angles and the views and the storytelling. But like, very much with these guys, I'd like to hear from you guys kind of how you approach you talked about it a little bit, like a full script. Do you kind of come up with the idea as a general page first?
Well, when I write by myself, I write full script, but without, like, some writers actually specify, worm's eye view, from the street looking up. I don't do that unless it's really, really important for a plot point. I generally let the artist, who are, the people with the visual skills, to, compose it how they want. When Mike and I write together, generally we just talk about it first, or doing, a treatment or something, and then he does the first draft, and then I go in and really don't change very much, because they're usually better than Watchmen. And then send it to Dave.
We've been given the 5-minute warning. Who has some awesome questions? You, sir, in the hat.
Will there be any more of the Spotlight books, and if so, who are they about?
Or Transformers or G.I. Joe?
Transformers.
They are a little bit on hold right now because we're in the middle of sort of relaunching with the new ongoing series and Bumblebee and Last Stand of the Records. But I wouldn't rule it out. I like the Spotlights a lot. That Spotlight Metroplex was amazing. That was the single best comic book I've ever read. Better than Watchmen. G.I. Joe, we had toyed with the idea of doing spotlights, and some of those have morphed into some of the Origins stories that we talked about doing them in spotlights, but then when G.I. Joe Origins was a success, and that book actually defines more clearly what we wanted to do, in that it's Origins. And so that's why you get these single issue stories and the two-parters, and that's why Larry will come in and sort of go out of Origins, because he's also frankly very busy. So that would be the place for that type of a story that's really character focused for an issue.
I feel like we should do a spotlight on Stalker.
Maybe a miniseries?
Yeah, maybe we should do like 5 issues.
Yeah, 5 sounds good. Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, I can try it. Let's do it.
All right.
We should write that Max.
Any other questions? Last questions, last call.
I got one more.
All right, one more.
Hasbro. I read on the internet that Stephen Summers talked about G.I. Joe #2. Do you have any comment on that?
No.
It was at a press conference in Australia.
Okay. He was intoxicated. He doesn't know. Well, we're glad that he's enthusiastic.
The thing I like about Hasbro, they're sort of a silent partner. This is how he answers my questions on the phone. Hey, Michael, can we use Starscream now? I have no comment on that. Come on, one more. You.
How could someone go about getting work like that? Working in the IDW and G.I. Joe or
Like on staff?
yeah, or writing, drawing, thinking. What's the best way to go about it?
Well, we don't take submissions for like the creative stuff right now. I mean, sometimes we have in the past, but we don't right now. Just frankly, we're booked because you guys seem to like what we're doing. We keep planning more and more. The best way, sort of in general, to get work in the comics business is often to publish your own book and sort of use that to get some attention. You kind of to get onto something like a Transformers or a Spider-Man or FF or whatever. It takes a while to build up that steam, meet the right editors, get that sort of confidence going, that sort of thing. Sort of build your portfolio. Do we have any artists in here?
Yeah,
All right. Well, there's a panel tomorrow at 4 o'clock by Comics Experience, which happens to be my other job, on how to make a great comic book portfolio. So if you want to come by that, it's a good place to start hearing a lot of this how to get this sort of stuff. We'll cover some stuff for people who want to write too, actually, over there, just because a lot of people have. What's that?
What room is it going to be?
What room is that going to be in? I think it's like right around here. I think it's 30.
What time?
4 o'clock. Or, yeah, 4 o'clock. Wow, I got to shamelessly plug my new business. Thanks for that.
Okay, real quick, whoever wants my Snake Eyes, Pac-Man eating the Cobra Commander Ghost Head. All right, you up front. And then I'm also giving away who wants a free sketchbook, Robert Atkins sketchbook. You in the glasses in the middle. Yeah.
Nice to do. Yeah. All right, I believe that concludes. Somebody wanted a hug. Still want a hug.